Welcome back to Culture Photography. My name's Paul and I explore the UK and beyond, capturing the beauty that lies in every location. I show you behind the scenes of my photographs, take you with me on my walks through nature and cityscapes, and give you tips that you can incorporate into your own photography. I keep the channel true to life, often showing you the scene, sharing my thoughts on composition, and showing you the final results. Today we're on one of our regular trips north of the border. We'll be visiting some stunning locations from the Black Isle to Glen Affric, taking a ride on a funicular railway to the UK's highest cafe on Cairngorms, and lots more. Let's get into it. All the images in this video were taken with my Nikon D750 and the 28-300 AFS lens. Here we are on the shoreline of the Black Isle. Not actually an island, but a peninsula in the far northeast. The light all day was playing hide and seek, creating some moody atmosphere, interspersed with some fleeting moments of glorious warm tones. We're straight in with the pro tip for today's video, which is to keep checking behind you. Often you can be so focused on what's going on in front of you that you miss the light or changing scene that's happening behind. I was just searching the shoreline, and when I turned round I saw how the different colours and textures created an unusual coastal scene. The ever-changing light delivered some dramatic skies and added some perfectly timed mood that made me feel like we were definitely on the Black Isle. I really enjoyed the colours of the ferns and the bushes, so I captured a few quick compositions. We'd walked just over a mile along the beach and then found a footpath through the ferns and bushes to make a different way back and give us some different viewpoints. I must admit I was in my element, just meandering along and appreciating the landscape. As we walked back to the village of Rosemarkie, there were some trees creating a lovely frame. The leading line of the shore and the ever-changing light creating some nice light against the buildings in the distance. Too much to resist. Well, the long walk and the fresh air next to the sea made us decidedly hungry. So we had a walk up to the village, see what shops there were. There was a lovely little pub, but we weren't sure if it was open. We ended up just grabbing a sandwich from the Spar shop, which was just up on the right. Our next stop will be further along the coast, and I'll see you there. Welcome to a blustery and exposed Chanonry Point. There's a great lighthouse and another beach walk back towards Rosemarkie. There's also a great view of Fort George. If you're enjoying the video, give us a thumbs up and please share and subscribe. In this photograph, you'll see how I've used the compression from a long focal length to really accentuate the layers. The rays of light provided even more drama, bringing the scene together. There's something about a lighthouse that just really intrigues me, and I'm sure it isn't just me. These structures that stand quiet against the elements, and their sole purpose to make sure sailors get back to their loved ones. As I'm walking around, I'm just looking at where the light is and what grabs my interest. Moving further around, I love the way the distant hills sit on the horizon across the Moray Firth. The dilapidated boat offered a great directional flow across the frame towards the lighthouse, and the benches provide some more context about the location, pulling it all together. I think this is one of my favourite images from the week. We're right at the edge of the peninsula, and as I pan round, I try a few of the compositions to try and capture the ever-changing mood and the character of the lighthouse. When I spotted some birds circling around the lighthouse, I took a quick snapshot, but then when I got it into Lightroom, I noticed the silhouette against the brightness of the sky, and it reminded me of The Walking Dead. And we're back with today's top tip. The sun had made a brief appearance, so I checked what was happening behind me, and then I captured this shot. In the next two images, I make use of leading lines. I noticed two potential possibilities. So for the first one, I've used the pebbles and the stones on the beach and this wavy line leading us right up to the centre of the frame, which I quite enjoy. The second one uses more of the sea, and it's a long sweeping line that follows all the way around to the village and off into the distance. You tell me which one you prefer. Sometimes it can be worth experimenting with unusual features in the landscape. I spotted some silhouettes on the causeway, and with the light behind them and the majestic clouds over the firth, I didn't hesitate. As we take a final view before heading off, tomorrow we're going to Cairngorms, riding on the funicular railway, but not before stopping off at this location in Carbridge, another icon of the Highlands. I've taken this classic shot before, but as we were passing I thought I would see if there was another composition that would be worth capturing as well, and I'm really pleased I did. Here we are at Cairngorms Mountain. It's home to the UK's highest funicular railway and highest cafe, both at an end height of 1,097 metres. The summit of Cairngorms sits at 1,245 metres. It was a busy day for midweek, so I was pleased we didn't attempt it during the weekend. We overheard skiers and snowboarders from all sorts of countries. I was also surprised at how much snow there was at the plateau and above, given we hadn't had a lot of snow lower down. I'll leave you to hear the announcements from the driver and some footage of the journey on the way up, and I'll catch you at the top.
Good afternoon everybody, welcome on board. Right at the top it is pretty windy, it's definitely a cheeky Cairngorm breeze up there, probably about -10 or so wind chill temperature, and perhaps gusting early 40s, so if you're going outside, wrap up warm and hang on to your kits so they don't end up in Norway. If you're coming up and you're not doing snow sports, you're very welcome. You're welcome to go outside, watch everybody suffering.
And here we are about 10 minutes later. Not much to film on the way up as it was packed. Apologies for the flickering lights. We did get a front row seat on the way back down, so stick around for that journey. It's really cool. Arriving at the terminus, we did decide to go straight out and see what the conditions were like. And as you can see, it was really windy and the chill was about -10. With the snow in the air, it reduced visibility down to about 50 metres. A quick view of the different ski runs. The resort is also a haven for downhill mountain biking during the summer, but I'm not sure if the runs are the same. The skidoos were pretty cool, but that was about the entirety of the attractions today. Retreating back into the ptarmigan cafe, it was also packed with people warming themselves from the bitter cold. Everyone had the same idea. So we decided to take a look around at the exhibition, and there's a 270-degree film, which was fantastic, especially as there's only a few of us in the theatre.
Through millions of years of erosion, into the rugged cars and glens you see today. An environment truly fashioned through time, by snow, wind, rain, and ice.
By the time the film had ended, we managed to grab a seat in the cafe. I had a hearty venison chili, which was a little expensive, but a large portion and absolutely delicious. The weather did seem to be clearing a little, so we went back out to see if there was anything more to explore. And as you can see, there wasn't. Looking around to see if there was anything remotely interesting to photograph, and there was absolutely nothing. In fact, you'd have to be stupid to Let's move on. Overall, we spent a good amount of time at the top, and it might not seem like much, but being out in the elements, eating at the UK's highest cafe, and the ride on the funicular still made for a great trip out and some lasting memories. I'd highly recommend it. We made our way back to the station for the journey back down and managed to grab a vantage point at the very front.
Okay folks, welcome back on board. Hope you've had a good time up at the mountain. We are in a moving vehicle, and if we can just ask you to use the handouts provided for your own comfort and safety. Thanks.
I was pleased to be on the inside and not walking down, although you can. The cloud cover limited the dramatic view. I've done this trip on a clear day in the summer and the views are spectacular, so as I said, I'd really recommend it. There were plenty of skiers traversing down, and as we get closer to the lower station, we descend below the cloud line, and it was quite a clear afternoon.
Okay folks, that's us now coming back into the station.
Back at the base of the ski run, we watched some of the skiers descending down, and then we made our way back to the car. I did spot a little vantage point right at the bottom of the car park that presented a glorious view over Loch Morlich. Our next adventure took us along the glen to trek with some alpacas. We were a little ahead of schedule, so looked for any nearby landmarks to pass the time, which, as is often the case in the Highlands, wasn't difficult to find. Just outside the village of Cannock there's a memorial to Clan Chisholm. We spent a few moments in the area before heading to the farm. As we waited for the farmer to set up, we had a chance to meet the goats and the other animals he had. Not wanting to feel left out, the Highland cattle wandered over, so I quickly ran back to the car to grab my camera and managed to get some great shots. I always wanted some images of these animals in the glen, with a wide open space as a backdrop. We had a great hour walking with the alpacas, and I tried to make it look like Amani and I had bonded, but clearly that wasn't his interpretation and wasn't up for a selfie. We'd passed some falls on the way to the farm, and as we headed further down the glen, we stopped off and I wanted to grab a couple of nice compositions. The first image felt a little bit too wide for me. It's nice enough, but I preferred to do a tighter crop and focused on the overhanging tree in the centre of the frame, and also use a much less complicated colour palette. As for the final image, I moved to a portrait orientation, and I'm not sure. It feels a little bit too compressed, a little bit too stifled. What do you think? After this, we headed off to Glen Affric, and wow, well, I'll let it speak for itself. Welcome to Glen Affric. I'm going to head out onto this island. Loch's just low enough for us to be able to cross over. See what we can find. Some nice Scots pines on there. No light at the moment though. I might get some through the cloud. Let's see. Oh, this place is incredible. See a small island just over to my left. They say the loch is just low enough so we can walk across without getting too wet feet. This area is absolutely gorgeous. Scots pines behind me and in front of me, and the loch here. Fantastic. Absolutely love it. And the grey, dark skies just make it all the better for me. Check this out. Wind's picking up now. We've just come off the shore, walking out into the middle of the loch. It's fantastic. So atmospheric. Lots of silver birches lining the shoreline here. What a glorious, glorious spot. Just in the distance, you can see a small peak of a mountain. Don't know which one it is, but I really love the different layers between the different lines and the mist in between. I've got a long lens with me, so let's get a shot of that. In this composition, the small silver birch on the shoreline caught my eye. I liked how it looked like a smaller sibling to the larger trees venturing onto the shoreline in the same way a small child would, overlooked by their parents. The mist separated the background and the natural contrast lent itself to a black and white conversion. This would make a great camp spot. Look at this tree at the end. Look at how pretty this is. Absolutely stunning. I think this image offers a little bit more balance than the previous one. I went for a square crop and used the beach as a secure base for the trees and mountain to stand on. In this photograph, I liked the depth the different layers and textures provided, and by more or less centralising the mountain in the background, it feels very balanced and calming. The next few images are my favourite from Glen Affric. Central to this are the trees with their reflections in the Cairngorms. Just up ahead we can see, or I can hear, a waterfall just following my ears in the direction, and now just through the trees I can see it. No idea if it's good, but it's been raining on and off the past few days, so it should be quite overflowing with the water. Should be some good cascades, some nice dark atmosphere as well. Let's go and have a look. Oh no, isn't that something? Now if I'd thought about it, this would have made for a nice composition. However, it was just the result of not balancing the camera well enough. Anyway, still managed to take some photographs. Let me know your favourites from this video in the comments below. Oh, we're in Gairloch and it's blowing a hoolie and raining. So I don't think I'm going to take any photos, and I'm going to go and get some coffee. I'll have a quick walk down here, and I'm going to walk into the coffee shop and sit in the car and try and get dry again. closed. I knew we should have got a coffee at the place that was on the way down. Never mind. Walk back to the car. There's another place here. Let's try this one. After I'd warmed up and we ate some amazing cakes from Harry Gow's bakery that we'd bought before leaving, we made a short trip to the nearby beach in Gairloch. Despite it still lashing down, we ventured out, and what a beach it was. Well, despite the rain and the wind, find ourselves down on the beach. It's absolutely stunning though, as you can probably see behind me. The trees, white sand or yellow sand with it. You can even see some turquoise in the water, even in February. Absolutely stunning. But it's even better in the summer though, to be honest. There's some gorgeous rocks and things over here, we'll take a look. Try and get across this water again. Look at this view. Absolutely stunning. Oh, this is so pretty. It's worth getting wet and cold for. I've got the big coat on, I'm nice and warm, I'm dry, I don't mind. The colour of this water, even though we're in February, still absolutely beautiful. Though on the west coast here does have much better beaches. It's always stunning, no matter what time of year you come. get out there in the weather, experience it. And that concludes the adventures for this episode. I hope you enjoyed being with me as much as I enjoy having you along. Take care, and I'll catch you next time.